Day 4 of the World Aquatics Championships out in Singapore, and we have the first world record of the meet, and it's a massive one. Léon Marchand knocked off 1.3 seconds off Ryan Lochte's 200 meters individual medley mark that had stood since 2011. We're going to break down that world record swim, the 5 gold medals that were handed out tonight in Singapore, and preview tomorrow's finals as well. So let's jump straight in. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. Day 4 of the Singapore World Championships, and we finally have a world record on the books, and it is a massive one, Dan. It's a huge one.
It's not just any world record. I mean, I was staggered by what I watched. I literally said out loud, like, what just happened? Like, what has he just done? It's done. I don't have the words for it, so I'm going to be a little bit lost for them at the start. I'll do my very best because the splits, I'm trying to work out which split was the most impressive. Honestly, I have no idea, but we'll try and break it down as best as we can.
All of them are good.
Honestly,
all of them are good. We're going to start with that swim, but before we get into it, I want to remind you guys that the Propulsion Swimming Podcast is brought in partnership with One Flow Aquatics out in Summer Bay, the newest venue for your warm weather training camps on the Red Sea in Egypt. And if you're interested in booking your next trip there, whether it's the October window or the February window in 2026, you can follow the link in the show notes of this podcast, and your inquiry will be dealt with by Sports Abroad. Dan, we've got 5 finals to go through. And we've been doing finals ahead of semi-finals every review episode so far, but we can't not start with a 152 200 meters individual medley. 152, not even 153. He's knocked 1.5 seconds off his personal best. 1.3 seconds off. He's bodied Ryan Lochte. He's given him a body length and said, you know what, I don't want to go 153.
It's mental.
I can't fathom how fast this is.
I mean, here's a question for you. Like, we were staggered by his 400 IM. Is this one more impressive? Because he's taken the same amount of time off over half the distance. This is an insane time, and it's in a semi-final, so God knows what he's going to do in a final. I think he was pushing it, admittedly.
Yes,
so I don't know how much more he can find. He did jam or kind of like do a double stroke into his breaststroke into freestyle turn, so maybe there's a couple of hundredths there. So could see another world record tomorrow. But oh my God, honestly, an incredible swim, and has to be right up there with one of the strongest world records we've ever seen, I think. I think that it will only be topped if Summer McIntosh were to get the 200 fly. I think that is...
Oh, there's a good debate.
There's a good question for you. Yeah,
there's a few debates there.
I know.
Does someone match it, or is this the best Léon swim that we've ever seen? I think it's really right up there.
Blimey.
I think it's worth digging into this swim a little bit and taking a little bit of time to break down and understand how Léon Marchand has just broken the 200 meters individual medley world record, because the Ryan Lochte mark, the 154 flat, was seen as one of the greatest textile swims of all time. Now, it was the first supersuit world record to be broken, and it's stood ever since. But Léon Marchand has battered it from the gun, and I think Shane Casas has a little pat on the back for how fast he took out the fly leg of this, because Casas took it out in a 23.88, and Léon matched him. He didn't go 23 point, but he went a 24.1, which compared to how Lochte took out the fly leg, comparing the splits, was a 24.89. So straight away, he's 0.7 ahead of it.
Yes, and then kind of backs up that with the backstroke leg. Now, in the actual race itself, it looked like he completely battered the field on backstroke. But if we're comparing his splits to what Lochte did, obviously Lochte, world-class backstroker.
Was a backstroker first.
Yeah, he was a backstroker. So you're kind of expecting him to actually be ahead of Marchand on that split. But actually, Marchand went quicker by near enough 0.2 of a second, which is unreal.
Léon Marchand's backstroke split, a 28.40. Ryan Lochte's a 28.59.
Yeah, like mental.
This is where 0.19 off.
This is why I can't work out which split of these 50s is the best, because that backstroke split is incredible, and then the breaststroke split after that, a 32.13. There's no one in the world that can do that on a 200 IM, and that's the reason why he's so far ahead of the rest of the world, and that's a good second, near enough a second faster than what Lochte did when he broke that world record as well.
Lochte went at 33.03. And then the freestyle legs, this is where Lochte finally got him. But at this point, Léon Marchand was over 2 seconds under the world record pace. So I imagine everyone inside the venue in Singapore, like us on the stream, straight away, I was just like, how low is this going now? So Lochte finished his race with a 27.49. And Léon Marchand does not do a Michael Andrew. He comes home at a 28.06. And at the flags, it was like 149, like 150.
Yeah,
and then he touches the wall in a 152.69. And like you say, maybe he does get this lower tomorrow because there were the tiny bit of skills. There was half a stroke on the breaststroke. Maybe he doesn't have Casas really taking him out as strong tomorrow.
Maybe.
But if he doesn't break it again, if this stays the mark, this could stay the mark for a very long time.
I mean, that's the problem, I suppose. It's not the problem, it's just the way it is. But, you know, you have your Phelps and Lochte dominance. It was Michael Phelps' event, but Lochte was the fastest at it. But then who's the second fastest swimmer? You're looking for your Wang Shuns or your Duncans or your Casas, who are still in your, I say still, like a 155 is absolutely incredible. But that's like 2.5 seconds off. Like, it's the sheer dominance is crazy. It's almost like he's had, like, Summer McIntosh was the main talking point going into these Worlds, and this is his first event, if I remember right, and he's just completely said, right, no, I'm the superstar. This is my sport, if you like. But unreal.
If Summer wins 5 golds, I think they're equal, to be perfectly honest. But this world record is mad.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back to the point where I was saying, like, if Summer were to break the 200 fly, for me, I think that's marginally better, but like to say that is mad. It's hard to say that. It's about the same, isn't it, surely?
Do you know what? I think this world record is too raw for me to say, how can this get faster? Because looking at those splits, I don't know that it can get faster. What I will say now to you, I'll put this question to round out this topic before we dig into the gold medal swims of tonight, because this was only a semi-final swim.
I know, yeah.
Are we going to see a sub-4 400 metres individual medley?
Oh, my word. So you'd have to find 2.5 seconds. I mean, he's just found
a second and a half and 200.
Yeah. Is he going to go sub-4? My God, that would be insane. I'll go with, let's just say positive. Yes, but it seems unlikely. But,
but so
it seems unlikely that he went a 152.6 still. So anything can happen at the moment with this guy.
Absolute madness. Let us know in the comment section below what you think is going to happen for the rest of the meet now Léon Marchand has got going. I'm struggling to put into words, and we are the hosts of the podcast. We need to speak words for people to listen. It's
honestly incredible. I mean, still, again, the last turn is just otherworldly. You're not supposed to go to 15 on that last turn at the end of a 400 or 200 IM, but he does it so well.
Bowman swimmer.
Unreal. Unbelievable.
Shall we get into the gold medal swims of the night then? Because we've got 5 to get through, and we've just spent 10 minutes talking about a 200 metres individual medley semi-final. So we've got to not speed through these, but hopefully there's kind of a bit more, we can put more coherent sentences together because we're not left completely stunned. We kick things off with the men's 800 metres freestyle, which I think was robbed of Sam Short yet again.
Yeah,
he missed it at the Olympic Games with illness. He's got food poisoning or gastroenteritis, whichever you want to call it, from his hotel in Singapore. Went downhill, looking at the post he put on social media, very rapidly after his heat swim, which his heat swim was really good, really strong. But that being said, Jawadi from Tunisia, who wins this in a 7:36.88, again, really fast as ever, textile swim. This is 3rd fastest all time.
Yeah.
Even if Sam Short was in this race, I'm not sure he could have lived with Jawadi, because from 400 onwards, he just went. And he went to his legs, and he looked strong. It looked like 200 meter stroke rate, and he sustained it. He didn't die off whatsoever.
Yeah, it was almost strong from the word go, if I'm honest. You had Whiffen on the outside who did take it out quite strong, maybe his normal pace, but I think he was ill as well, so he kind of faded towards the end. But Jawadi kind of used that pacemaker, if you like, and then just found another gear and just left the field. Like a 7:36 is mental. That's really good. Now, this is the world record, which I think is not impossible, because I don't know what is not impossible anymore. But a 7:36 is amazing. Only 4 seconds off the 800 world record, and he's still very young as well, so maybe he's the guy to go and do it. But like you say,
Tunisia have some history in this.
They do, yeah. It's not even a national record.
I know, that was a mad thing.
Honestly, mental. So Juardi, a worthy winner, but then to round out the podium, 2 Germans. Like you said yesterday, the Germans having an outstanding meet, and it just carries on with Schwartz and Martins. Martins now getting his second medal of the meet. It's looking really good for them. Really good.
I do want to say, Juardi's interview afterwards was hugely powerful on poolside. He said he is the 1500 meter short course world champion from Budapest in December, and he said actually winning that title gave him blues. It gave him depression, which more and more swimmers are coming out and talking about, which I think is a really powerful movement for the sport. Maybe World Aquatics and the Olympics or other governing bodies really need to start taking a big look into mental well-being, because it does seem to be not happening more and more, because I think it really did happen, but it's becoming a lot more vocal.
Yeah.
And a lot more people are opening up about it. So whether there needs to be put in place some transition, some support networks, everything like that, off the back of winning, off the back of racing, off the back of achieving your Olympic goal, like even just getting to the Olympics, for a lot of swimmers, they get the blues after that. I hope that swimmers being open and vocal about this sort of thing isn't just us going, oh, well done, thank you for talking about your mental health. I hope there's movements behind the scenes happening because they're talking about it.
I think most swimmers, especially when they retire, that's when problems kick in, because you're in such a routine. Like, you know when you're training, you know when you're getting up, you know when to eat, really, you know what to eat, so you're told what to do. And then suddenly when you do retire, you've kind of almost lost in a way. And I don't know if there is an actual pathway to follow to sort of ease you into, quotations, a normal life, let's say. And I wonder if that should be a thing that swimming needs to look into with your active swimmers as well. Because,
Not
like
just
you
when
say,
you retire, so start learning those skills.
Yeah, and actually just being vocal, like you're saying, just talking about how you're feeling, and then what's the next part, next plan. And maybe swimming does need to look into it more, because it's quite eye-opening. Like, you never really think of it that way, because you think, well, you've just become world champion. Obviously, you're on cloud 9, but actually, sometimes that has a detrimental effect to some people as well.
Women's 200 meters freestyle, won by the great Mollie O'Callaghan in this one, a 1:53.48. She didn't have to be at her world-beating fantastic best, although a 1:53 mid is pretty good.
Yes.
She was in control of this one, absolutely in control from the get-go. She weirdly I think it was just the speed of the rest of the field. Weirdly for her, she led the race throughout, but still kicked on in the last 50 meters, and her underwaters just kept her ahead of everyone. They were stunning.
Yeah, I mean, the start, I mentioned it yesterday, her start was awesome in the semi-final, and she just destroyed the field immediately on the first 15, again to the first 25 as well. But it was really the underwaters. She won that race just by the turns, almost reminiscent of what Phelps did in 2008 in Beijing, when swim speed was kind of the same as everyone else, but the turns just completely trashed the field almost. But then Mollie O'Callaghan does what she always does, and last 50, she ends up winning by a body length. It's unreal last 50. Worthy winner, and she's still got, I think her PB's are 52 low, so she could have gone a second quicker. I know she's had troubles going in, but not easy, but a comfortable win in the end by a good second.
And Brit watching this one, I think we've got some real positivity. Women's 200 metres freestyle in Britain has a new British record, and it's a massive British record. Freya Colbert knocks off 0.5 of Joe Jackson's supersuit record. And there's been some history in this event for British swimming down the line. She finishes 4th, so she only just misses the podium, but a 1:55.06 is a phenomenal time, and a time, let's be honest, even with the big hitters swimming in women's 200 metres freestyle, when they return in the next few years, I think Freya Colbert can target finals in this event now.
Yeah, quite possibly. I know you're adding Titmus into the equation as well, so you're going to assume that she's going to podium. Jorge as well, so there are some big names to come in. But if she can go a 55.0 now, hopefully in a number of years to come, she's down to the 54s, which is where this podium was. And suddenly you're thinking, actually, we've got a podium shot in not just this event, but the 400 IM as well. Now, she's an amazing swimmer. I think we kind of take her for granted. She's actually an incredible talent. But a massive British record, and hopefully this then bodes well for the relay. and then builds the other girls up as well, and who knows what can happen then. But fantastic swim. She raced it so well.
Really, really smart. She was in amongst it. It wasn't a case of, look, I'm going to use back end speed, I'm going to hold back for the last 50. It was, from the 100 turn, she went with Mollie O'Callaghan. She really gave her every single shot of being on that podium, and raced it really, really smart. It kind of raced it kind of remnants to what we've been seeing the Americans been doing all week.
Yeah, I mean, the standard way of racing your 2 or 4s is to sort of push the third 50 or third 100. And you kind of saw that across the field. A lot of them all did push the third 50, which is why you didn't really see anyone take a massive lead, if you like. So Freya was part of that group and then put herself in the best position. And then it's just a case of fighting to the end and come away with a 4th, which I think is really, really good. And of course, you can't ask for much more. I mean, she'd probably look at that time and think, I'm so close to a 54. But look, she should take that with massive pride, because a 1:55.0 is an incredible time.
Men's 200 meters butterfly. I mean, a 1:51.87 by Luca Urlando is a monumentally fast time. He's 4th in history. And to me, I was watching this race, and it was kind of remnants of when Milak was at his absolute pomp, swimming 200 meters butterfly, because I came away from it just going, simple, job done. There was no drama whatsoever.
That's exactly what I thought.
At the 100 turn, you're just like, well, Luca Urlando is going to win this. What more do you want me to say?
Yeah, I was almost sort of in awe of the technique. Like, this looks sort of impeccable rhythm. It just looks so comfortable. Increase the speed whenever you want. And it was just, it looks like an easy win. And it's 200 fly is one of the hardest events, obviously. But you made it look so comfortable to the point where there's no drama, because he's going to win it here. Even though Chmielewski came back at him at the end on the final 50, but he's so far ahead at that point. But not much to really talk about, if I'm honest. Other than I picked him going in. But can you imagine what Marchand would have done in this event? Don't know. But
I'm glad he saved himself for the 2 a.m.
That's what John Mason was saying at the end. Like, it's a good idea that you took yourself off the 2 fly and 2 breast, most probably. So, be interesting.
Men's 50 meters breaststroke. We've got another Italian breaststroke sprinter. They're famous for it right now, because you've got Martinenghi, you've had Pilato. I know Viberati at Seti Colli swam an incredibly fast time, but this time it's Ceraselo who wins in a 26.54, first time world champion. And the field itself was split, I think, the top 7 by 0.2, which is incredibly close. But actually, he won this from the start. He won this off the dive for me. First 50 meters, he was ahead. He's
extremely explosive. I think I said yesterday, I compare him and Chin very, very similarly. They really do attack the recovery phase on breaststroke. And explosive off the start and kind of led from the get-go and then held on to get the touch. I think Chin was maybe starting to come back, but ran out of pool in the end. Still very close. Prigoda is obviously incredibly good at the underwater phase, which is probably what got him through. But Ceraselo, maybe he's the one to watch out for, because that's a good time, 26.5, sorry. So, maybe there's more to come from him.
Talking of Prigoda, he had a massive session. So he swam this 26.62. And then the mixed medley relay, which we're going to talk about now, the neutral athletes B smashed the championship record. They won this in a massive time. But Prigoda swam a 57-point split for this. And then Leventsev, who I think came 7th in the 100 meters back final yesterday, he swims a 51.78, which is second fastest swim ever.
Second fastest ever. Yeah.
What on earth?
I thought we were going to miss something in this relay, because there were no Brits, there were no Americans. I thought, it's going to lose a bit of pizzazz. But I'll tell you what, those neutral athletes, they absolutely smashed it.
I thought the world record was on.
Yeah, so did I. Wow. Especially when Lefintsev goes a 51.7, completely decimates the whole final just on that first leg. And you have Prigoda doing a 57 point. I mean, it's the best start you could possibly have. And then the 2 female swimmers brought it back home, and arguably unlucky to not hit the world record in the end.
I would say they pushed it close on the final takeover, which was a 0.06.
Yeah, I actually thought they got DQ'd. I thought it was a flyer. No, they've ruined it. But no, it's good enough anyway. But no Brits, no Americans, which I thought would ruin it. But not to be. They absolutely killed it.
Yeah, there's another split in this field, which we should probably keep an eye on for later on in this meet. Marit Steenbergen with another 51 point 100 meter free to finish. I really think she's a dark horse for that 100 meter free title later on this week.
Yeah, I mean, I put her on a podium, and I just don't know who's going to win it. I can't remember who I picked now. I think I picked Mollie O'Callaghan just for the closing speed and the race itself, I guess.
Steenbergen's flying right now.
There are some, it's a weird mixture. You have some swimmers absolutely at their peak, and you have some swimmers that are not quite, it's not quite happening for whatever reason.
I think it's post-Olympics. If you look at it, there's a lot of the swimmers who were stunning in Paris and had really busy Paris Olympic Games, and they've just come back to the sport later. I think I've got no problem with that whatsoever. Like Mollie O'Callaghan said, she went off and enjoyed herself.
Yep.
I've got nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I think you're just seeing like the depth of swimming. You've got these new names coming up as the big names from Paris are slightly kind of returning back to cycles and coming back into training. And you know what? Maybe Worlds doesn't need to happen every year. Maybe it doesn't need to happen straight off the back of an Olympic Games. Maybe it's every two. I don't know. Back to every two.
It used to be back to every two now. Yeah, I actually can't remember now, if I'm honest. But it was every two, which is kind of what it should be, really. But yeah,
because next summer's busy with Commonwealth Games, Europeans. You don't want to throw a Worlds into that.
Well, no, because then you won't have people performing at their absolute best, will you?
No,
but yeah, interesting. Everyone's going to have different cycles, especially in the first year of a new cycle as well.
Yeah. Okay, that just about rounds up the gold medal swims from night 4 of the World Aquatics Championships out in Singapore. We're going to take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll be talking semi-final swims, of which the men's 100 meters freestyle was stunning. Okay, just to remind you guys that the Propulsion Swimming Podcast is brought in partnership with One Flow Aquatics out in Summer Bay, the newest destination for your warm weather training camps on the Red Sea in Egypt. And if you're interested in booking your next training camp now, you can do so following the link in the show notes of this podcast. Dan, we're starting the semi-finals with the men's 100 meters freestyle, and I've got to say this is the first time I have ever seen one semi-final have 7 swimmers qualify, and the first semi-final only have the 1, which of course means Olympic champion world record holder Panzan Le misses out. I've got to say it's not a fluke that he misses out. He hasn't looked great at these world championships. In the relays, he's not had a 46 point, let's be honest with you. And there's other names now. It's going to be a dogfight tomorrow, even without him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, the first semi-final was a weird one, because you look at the times, you think, 47.3 is actually pretty good for Chalmers, and everyone else is sort of 4s, 5s, and it gets a little bit low as you go down the pack. But yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think I've ever seen a semi-final have just one swimmer qualify. That just shows the advantage of going in a second semi-final, just because you know exactly what time you've got to hit. And I think as we go through these semi-finals, a lot of these people, or a lot of these swimmers are now starting to realise we're not going to risk it anymore, because people are actually missing the final because of the first semi-final. You've actually got to go out there, guess a win, basically, finish on the top 2.
Treat it as another final.
Almost, yeah. As long as you get the win, you should be relatively fine. So that's why later on we'll see some quick times. But yeah, Chalmers is really quite exciting at the moment. The first 50 is making a difference. Like, he's known for coming back strong, and he's still doing that. But the first 50, he's getting out quicker and coming back just as strong. I think there's more to give. A 47.3 looks strong. It looks comfortable. Yeah.
I will add to this though. You've got Jack Alexey, who's taken down Caleb Dressel's American record in a 46.81, and Popovich with it was a horrible half stroke to finish in a 46.84. And again, he looked quite comfortable coming back as well. And both of those guys go sub 47 seconds, which I think might be the first time in history that we've had that in one race together. Jack Alexey's got form for not doing it in a final. I will put that out there. He's swam fast semi-finals, fast heat swims before, over in the States and at previous World Championships and Olympic Games. But he did look good. Like, his arm span, his wingspan is truly impressive. And Popovich is going to be next to him.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of Popovich just surfing on his wave a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, he won't be the first to 50, I don't think. I think Kornev, he's the one that has the start at the moment. He split a 22.3, and if he does that sort of first 50 split again, you're going to drag along your Chalmers, your Alexis, your Popovic. And I'll tell you what, that is going to be slingshotting these guys past. And I wouldn't put it past these guys to have a podium of sub 47.
We said this.
I think that it's going to happen. I do. Because these guys are absolutely flying at the moment. I mean, Nemeth actually misses the final as well. We forgot to mention him. So there's some big names missing, but some new blood coming through. I suppose the question is Popovic still favourite? Even after, I know Alexis going in fastest and Popovic second fastest, but is Popovic still favourite for you?
Yes.
I agree, yes, yeah, bit of a silly question. Yeah, definitely favourite.
I do like Chalmers, though.
I do like Chalmers as well, yeah. I think that's your podium, if that's my assumption.
I think so. Britwatch in this one, Matt does really, really well to qualify for the final in this one. Halfway through the last length, I got slightly worried he was getting lost in Jack Alexis' wash. But he does come home in a 47.59. He does say this is the event he hopes he can improve on the most, and he's got the most progress to give in this event. We just said, to make this final, you've had to go sub 46. You've had to go sub 47.6. He's right amongst it. I would say this is the strongest 100 free field we've ever seen, even if you knock Pan out of it.
Yeah, well, imagine if you did include Pan in it as well. I mean, it's a stacked field. I mean, Matt's gone a 47.5, like you just said, which is only 0.2 off his lifetime best. So, and that's in a semi-final. So you can't ask for too much more, if I'm honest. So based on that, if he's going to go quicker through the rounds, he's going to be on his British record kind of pace, which, again, you can't ask for much more. But if you're going to be on a podium, I think you've got to go sub 47, which is mental. Absolutely insane. I mean, if Matt can get anywhere close to that, then happy days. But it's a big ask with these guys at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed. I think we just hope that someone messes up and takes it out way too fast, or I don't know, just doesn't come home. Matt does come home, because I think he is a little bit like Chalmers, a little bit like Popovic in this one. He is using his 200 pedigree and bringing back at the back end of 100 meters, which sounds weird because it is just a flat out sprint when you watch these guys now.
It is now, especially when they're turning at 22 mids, something like that. I mean, that's so quick. And then coming back in a Popovic scenario here of 23.9. So no one's going to be coming back best than Popovic, I'm assuming, unless Chalmers does. So you've got to have a bit of a lead. But we said this about Hobson, you had to go out there and then try and hold on. But I think Popovic's back end speed is just so good at the moment. It's just unbeatable. But we'll see.
Women's 50 meters backstroke. We can count ourselves slightly lucky here as Brits, because Lauren Clox's heat swim, I wouldn't say didn't quite go to plan, but it was a very, very close field. And she ended up having to do a swim off at the end of the morning session to make it to the semi-finals. And her swim off time was good. It would have placed her 5th going into the semi-finals. She gets an outside lane, and she goes in tomorrow's final as second fastest. I'm quietly confident, and I think do you know what? I think the extra swim might actually help.
I was going to ask you that.
The extra swim to blow off the cobwebs, to get rid of even more nerves if there are any, get her into a routine. 350s in one day is probably quite a lot for her. It's more than you would have planned for at a meet, especially 2 in one session.
Yep.
The second one was very good.
The
it was a pressure-filled environment. If anything, that swim-off might have been more pressure than the final when it happens.
Yeah, luckily, from my point of view, I've never been in a swim-off, so I don't know what it's like. But I can imagine it can build a lot of confidence, especially when it's almost like a gladiator type thing. It's you or me who are going through to the final, and you get that little bit of confidence, I imagine, taking that win. And then she goes into the final second fastest. And I'll tell you what, the stroke rate, I go on about the stroke rate a lot, and especially with Burkhoff as well. I think Lauren Cost's stroke rate is quicker than Burkhoff's, which is saying something.
On the water, I think Burkhoff just had her off the start.
Yes, I agree. I think actually Lauren was a little bit slow off the block. Only 0.1 or even less than that, actually, but it's noticeable. So maybe there's a slight reaction improvement that she can have in the final. But yeah, the swim speed is looking quite good, and not a million miles away again from the British record that she set a couple of months ago. I'm quietly confident of another podium here.
Me too.
I think that swim off really did help. That's just another 50 to practice on those certain skills. So I'm looking forward to it.
Women's 200 meters butterfly. I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion tomorrow because Regan Smith is a phenomenally good swimmer. She had a busy session in this one. She did the 50 back, then the 200 meters butterfly. But Summer McIntosh is in a world of her own. She will be in a world of her own. The way that she swam away from a 200 fly field in the last 50, you don't often see that.
Yeah.
She goes to 206.2, and it was comfortable. It was very, very comfortable.
Yeah, this was another situation where I think maybe it was the top two from the first semi-final only made the final.
Yeah,
so it's just another situation where being in the second semi-final is a massive advantage. This is why I actually wrote down that Deckers shows their experience to win the first semi-final in what I thought was a really quick time, knowing especially the names you have in that second semi-final. You can't mess around. You have to go quite quick. It's like 207.1 is actually pretty good for a 200 fly semi-final swim. But going back to Summer, it just looks comfortable, almost Urlando sort of esque. Just like far too simple. I mean, she's hoping to go a world record tomorrow. She's going to find another 5 seconds potentially.
She's conserving energy at this point.
It's mental. She can change the gears whenever she wants. Yeah, it just looks very, very comfortable. I don't know what else to really talk about her with that. We'll find out more tomorrow because, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say. That it's just everything went really well and went to plan, I guess.
We've got a Brit in the final as well. Emily Richards swam this very, very professionally, and I likened it to exactly how Freya Colbert swam the 200 meters freestyle. She gave herself absolutely every chance. She was always in the race, pushed on that third 50 really, really well. She qualifies fifth, a 207.71 as well. Looking at where the rest of the field is, she's in the hunt for a medal.
Quite possibly, yeah. I know Deckers could actually go 2.5. I think
2.5 is her PB.
Yeah. So in terms of PBs, there are some big hitters here. But of course, you race the race, don't you? And if you stick with that usual tactic of pushing the third 50 and then giving everything you got in the second 50, the last 50, you give yourself the best shot. And she did just that. And I like your comparison with Freya Colbert. As long as you're in the race, you've got a great shot of doing it. So looking forward to that, and I think there might be even more in the tank there. If she can go a low 207, then quite possibly she could be on the podium.
Okay, shall we round out this podcast talking about the 200 meters individual medley behind Léon Marchand? Because we started this talking about his world record swim. There are obviously other swimmers in this race tomorrow. Like, we're going to be watching him against the clock, but for us Brits, Duncan Scott has a fantastic chance of medaling yet again. Shane Casas does look strong.
He does.
I wonder if tomorrow he doesn't quite take out the fly as hard as he did, because he really raced on that, and Duncan did get him on the backstroke. And I would have thought Casas is a backstroker, like out and out backstroker. So I wonder if although he's finished 0.4 ahead of Duncan, I think this is the race for silver. I think between these two, is the
I guess it has to be now, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, unless those guys are going to throw down an amazing 3-second PB, then I think Marchand's by himself. I think the opposite. I think Casas is going to do the same tactic. I mean, that 155.1 now puts him, I'm trying to remember what swimming stat says, like the 6th fastest ever, I think. I might be wrong with that. So if he can do that same first 100, I think maybe he should push the backstroke on a little bit more. But then that might be detrimental to the breaststroke. And of course, when you've got someone like Duncan on the freestyle, you don't want him chasing you down, because he will chase you down. So maybe he'll adjust the backstroke to breaststroke slightly. But my pick for gold will be Duncan, hopefully. So
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know about that now, but I'd never bet against Duncan. But this looks hard for him to win gold now. But I actually think the 155.5 is really good. I think his PB is 155.2, so he's there or thereabouts, for a semi-final swim. I'm actually quite relatively confident that we might see a 54 from him, which then I think is good enough for your silver. So we'll see. But exciting things. The final's absolutely stacked, absolutely mental from top to bottom. I mean, Kos didn't mess around and get in the first semi-final. The skills he has now, he always had the great skills on the backstroke anyway, but the skills on every wall now has definitely improved. And of course, that's a Bob Bobin effect, isn't it? So big final.
Big final. I mean, it's almost a shame that Léon Marchand is in the way of Casas against Duncan, because they won't be able to stare each other eye to eye. They have this French missile between them. Yeah,
that's true. Shame to a point, but if we see another world record, then, well, we can't complain, can we?
No, not too much. Okay, that just about rounds up tonight's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast, talking day 4 out in Singapore. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube. We really, really appreciate everyone who's listened so far this week. I know our numbers have kind of been through the roof, which is really, really great to see. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed already, if you want to carry on seeing the episodes that we're producing, if you're watching every day, please do so on YouTube, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And me and Dan will see you in, 24 hours?
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Propulsion Swimming Podcast with Scott and Dan. We want to thank you for joining us and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as checking out the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel for weekly tutorials and videos to get your swimming fix. We will be back next week. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.